Hey everybody, it is New Year's Eve day, and we are here to ask a very important question as we enter into our new sermon series, which is kind of this idea that there's going to be a new you. Like it's a new year, we're all ready to be done with 2020, and we're heading into 2021. And so, how do we create a new you, and what should that new you look like? So, we're heading into New Year's Eve. We often do New Year's resolutions and kind of think what we're going to do different this year. So, Sarah, what are a couple that you've had in the past?
Well, I've had the traditional be more active, lose weight ones. I had one year to read my Bible every single day, which I did until about January 2nd of the next year. And then I was like, okay, phew, I made it.
So 2 days?
Well, no, I did it one full year, and then I felt like it would be wrong to quit as soon as I hit a year, so I went an extra day into the next year.
Wow.
And then I was like,
you did really good.
Okay, good, pressure's off. One year I had a New Year's resolution to just do something that I didn't want to do every day. So it might be get up early, or it might be play with my kids instead of playing on my phone. So just remind myself daily, do something you don't want to do, but you know you should do. So those are some of mine. How about you?
Well, I think probably like everybody else, I've had we're going to get to the gym more often type idea, get in better shape.
Could you go to the gym more often?
I could, yeah. I think that I've had I'm going to be a better dad by somehow investing more time or more energy into our kids. So I've had some of those, like I'm going to be better.
Right, better.
Isn't that what New Year's is about?
I
We're
think
going to
so.
be better. We're going to
be a better person.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the problem with some of these New Year's ideas and New Year's resolutions and the idea of forming a new you. There's nothing wrong with anything we've said. In fact, they're all great ideas. But we often kind of establish an idea or we have a plan before we have the end goal in mind. And so what I mean by that is that before we've even said, hey, what is it that I really want to do and be for the next year? Like, what's the mark of success? We've often said, here's what I'm going to do this year to make myself a better person. Well, who defines what a better person is? And what does that really look like? And what happens if midway through the year we realize, hey, this really wasn't the right goal to set? And so one of the things we want to do as we look at this new sermon series called Creating a New You is to start the very first message and the very first Sunday, as well as the new year, by saying, here's what success looks like, which is huge. As a principal, as a mom, as a wife, as a pastor, as a husband, as a dad, as a friend,
as a human,
yeah. Oh, well, yeah, included in humans, great. Success is very important in the sense of it's better to head towards success than to randomly walk around and going through life.
And I think it's a lot easier to quit on those New Year's resolutions when they're just a vague, I'm going to do this without a goal in mind.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because if I'm just going to go to the gym more often,
right.
Like I haven't really defined why I'm going to the gym or what's the end goal, or again, how does that equate into this makes me a successful person?
And if you have a goal and you see yourself inching toward it, it's easier to keep working toward it. So I love what you said so far, but as our brilliant pastor, please enlighten us all as we enter 2021. What is success? What makes us successful?
Yeah. So we're going to talk Sunday. Jesus uses this passage, a parable rather, where he talks about basically an owner or a manager of money has given out different sums of money to different individuals and said, hey, take care of this. And some come back and they've done well with their money. Now, it's not a financial parable as much as it's about God's given you talent and God's given you abilities and gifts. And I love the fact that to each one he gives a different amount. Because quite honestly, to each one of us, God has given different abilities. And it doesn't matter what the first couple have made, they've improved. They've done something with what Jesus gave them.
It.
Right. And they've produced fruit, if you will. That's another kind of concept the Bible uses to define success. Are you producing fruit? And so Jesus says, well done. Well done. Well done. And the last guy comes along and he's basically buried it. And he comes back and says, I have exactly what you've given me. And Jesus is upset with him. He's like, what were you thinking? And the man says, and I love this because it kind of shoots down the progressive Christian church, sweet, comfy, fluffy Jesus. But the man says to Jesus, like, I knew you were a shrewd manager. As Jesus is the manager represented in the story. I knew you were a shrewd manager. That man, you harvest where you didn't even plant. Like, your expectations are huge. And so I didn't want to risk anything. And Jesus is like, if you knew that I was a shrewd manager, you knew my expectations, and still you didn't produce, you didn't grow it. Mm-hmm. Like, he says, I'm done with you, and I'm throwing you into the fire. Like, there is this idea that there is an accountability by God. And in that, the story reminds us there is success in God's eyes, and then not success. So the first thing we got to do heading into 2021 is say, what is it that God thinks is successful? How does God define success? Which, quite honestly, I love because it takes the burden off of me, because success, in my opinion, would change every day. And say this,
sure.
Hey, success today is we got out of bed. we got out of bed with, like, hitting the snooze button once. Woo! High five.
That's not going to happen.
Right. And so success would always be an evolving, changing thing if it were defined by us.
Sure.
But success actually is never defined by us. It's defined by God first. So what does it mean to live 2021 with the goal of saying, if this is my last year, I would be able to hear the Father say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. And so how do we get there? What does that look like? And what are the goals that we should have then based on that idea of success? So that's what we're talking about, and that's where we should all start. So whether or not you're tuning in and checking out the sermon, or you're just tuning in and checking out the segment, I hope you're really thinking about these things. Like, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to believe? Because correct belief is as much as correct actions, because correct belief determines our actions. So what do I have to do? What do I have to believe? What do I have to be in order to be successful in God's eyes?
I'm really excited about this because we, as a culture, we are so go, 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 do. It's not enough, but I'm supposed to be enough. And we're never going to feel the rest and we're never going to realize that desire to be successful until we recognize that we don't get to determine what that looks like.
Right.
It's up to God. And once we recognize that and can feel like we've achieved that in God's eyes, which it'll continue to evolve, it's such a relaxing feeling.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited that that's how we're going to start this year.
And to go with your point, the idea that I'm never enough. And of course, we've used that book a little bit, but the idea here is so many of us are going to start our New Year's by adding stuff to our plate, because somehow in 2021 we're going to have more time than we had in 2020, right? But that's not true. And the reality of it is, success by Jesus doesn't always mean do more.
More, right.
Sometimes success by Jesus is do less.
Or prioritize better.
Prioritize better, which will often mean, again, we're going to do more of what we're already doing, but less of everything.
Right, absolutely.
Less of everything. So hey guys, you're not going to want to miss this. We thank you for joining us today. But for more information, you can check us out at www.faithignited.info. You can also check out our podcast channel, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook page. And we're glad you've chosen to join us and are looking forward to helping you make a new you for 2021. God bless.